welcome to the June 16th, 2016 City of Las Vegas Arts Commission meeting. Items listed on the agenda may be taken out of the order presented. Two or more agenda items for consideration may be combined. Any item on the agenda may be removed or related discussion may be delayed at any time. Backup material for this agenda may be obtained from Luann D. Holmes, City Clerk, Luann, at the City Clerk's office at 495 South Main Street, second floor, or the city's webpage at www.lasvegasnevada.gov. I call this meeting to order. We have roll call.
Chair Weinstein, excused. First Chair Shefsik.
Here.
Second Vice Chair Abelman.
Present.
Member Alvarez.
Here.
Member Cran. Excused. Member Diener. Here. Member Carpel.
Here.
Member Michaels. Here. Member Ogilvy.
Present.
Member Trimble.
Here.
Member Topaz.
Here.
Member Zachley.
Present.
And you do have a quorum.
Thank you. We are in compliance with the open meeting law.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Item number 3, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Item 4. Oh, is there anyone who would?
No comment.
No comment? No? Okay. All right. Thank you. Item 4, possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the Project Development Subcommittee of the Arts Commission meeting May 19th and June 2nd, 2016, and the regular meeting of the Arts Commission of May 19th, 2016. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. A second?
Second.
Oh, don't need it? No second? Okay, no second.
We want seconds.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Just for the record, seconds are good at a buffet, though.
I second that.
Okay. Maybe after the meeting. Number 5. Report by the Arts Commission Chair regarding monthly summary of current initiatives, cultural events, and opportunities. That's right there. Thank you. Okay. All right. First on the list, Django Vegas Gypsy Jazz Festival, which will be Saturday, June 18th at 6 p.m. At the historic 5th Street School Auditorium. Tickets are $15 in advance and $20 at the door. The 16th Annual Juneteenth Festival will be Sunday, June 19th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Sammy Davis Jr. Festival Plaza in Lorenzi Park. It is free and open to the public. Also, Performing and Visual Arts Summer Camp for Kids 2016. Will be Monday through Friday, June 27th through August 20th, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the West Las Vegas Arts Center. Cost is $400 per child, I'm guessing. That's for a week-long experience, right?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. 8 weeks. Wow. It is a deal. Women's Conference Series, Women Empowering Women, Saturday, June 25th from noon to 5 p.m. at the West Las Vegas Arts Center. This also is free and open to the public, but advanced registration is required. Children's Summer Concert Series, Wednesday nights and Thursday mornings from July 6th to July 21st at the historic 5th Street School. Tickets, $3 general admission. You can call 702-229-ARTS, ARTS, for group tickets. And for more information on any of these events, please visit artslasvegas.org or call 702-229-2787. Now, I know lots of us are involved in other arts events and activities. Does anyone else have something that they would like to tell us about? Commissioner.
Commissioner Alvarez, tomorrow the LGBT Center of Southern Nevada and the Las Vegas News Bureau and the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority will be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of marriage equality. At the center was an exhibition and panel discussion. So I encourage all of you to attend tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
I have a few things.
Yes.
Rachel Skiff, her show is up at Winchester and will be up through June 24th, titled Framing the West. Miranda Bear's show at the Government Center, Rotunda Gallery, titled High Noon, will be up through July 8th. And next Saturday, June 25th, from 11 to 1, we'll be dedicating the Zach Faith Project in Laughlin, where 16 artists painted 64 utility boxes down there. The dedication will be held at the American Legion.
Very good. At UNLV, at the Donna Bean Gallery, we'll be opening an exhibition June 24th. It's called Disconnected, The Making of an American Phenomenon. And we're borrowing work from the Neon Museum and the Atomic Testing Museum for this exhibition. Then recently opened at the Barrick Museum is 5, which is work by 5 different artists in residence that have served at the university. And it's a lively show. So, any other activities or events? Thank you. Item number 6. Report by the Office of Cultural Affairs staff regarding monthly summary of current projects. All words. Is that you?
It's me.
Patricia. Okay.
It's a new day. This is Patricia Harris. We sent out the monthly staff report to everyone. I hope you had an opportunity to read it. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. I do want to tell you that with the Main Street signature sculpture, the contract has been signed and finalized. It cannot go to council to be approved until the artist fulfills a couple of requirements. One is insurance, and the other is to have a workshop or a warehouse where the art piece can be built. And he's locating that new warehouse now. So we're pretty much done with that and have it ready to go on its way as soon as he's finished with those 2 items. Are there any questions that I can answer about the staff report?
I have one.
Okay.
Commissioner Shefsik, when you say insurance, what does that entail?
You know, I'm not exactly sure. The city, when you do business with the city, they have a requirement, depending on what you're doing with them, that you have to have insurance. From the contracts that I do, you normally have to have some general liability insurance. You also, if you employ employees, you have to have workman's comp insurance. There's a whole list that they get in advance.
This is for fabrication or after fabrication?
During
During.
to do business with the city. He has to have that insurance.
Okay.
It's not after. It's once it's installed and completed, it's the city's.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
This is just while he's making and doing it.
I have a question. When do you anticipate it being installed? Commissioner Alvarez.
The signature piece, we're not anticipating it until December 2018. It'll be installed when Main Street is complete.
Where will it be kept until then? Or is he to build it now?
You know, I don't exactly know that decision. We've talked about a couple of things. If he gets it done really early, he can store it, or we'll try to find a place to store it. Much like the benches, on Main Street. The second phase is completing, and they're not ready for them to be installed yet. So the artist has arranged for someone to store those benches and then install them when the city's ready for that. So they'll work some kind of an arrangement out if he gets the art piece finished before they're ready for it.
Speaking from experience, if things go into long-term storage, there's potential for things to happen.
I think everyone's hoping that's not going to happen.
Would it then be insured by the city, or is the artist still responsible for it while it's in storage?
I don't know that. I can find out. I can ask that question and get back to you.
Okay. Like I say, I've had experience dealing with things like that, so.
I haven't seen that addressed in any of the emails with the benches, and I don't think that I talked with John about that when we were doing the contract. But I'll ask.
Okay, thank you.
So, Commissioner Abelman, will this be at the city's expense, storing them, or will there be some kind of money for him to store it? Because
With the benches, because her original fabricator could not store them, it was agreed upon. She found a new installer. That installer is going to store them, and the city did put up extra money to help her with that.
so the city will put extra money up.
I can only say that would be my assumption.
Okay.
It probably will have to be renegotiated because that's what we did with hers. We had to do an addendum to the contract.
I would greatly appreciate some of Commissioner Sheffick's questions and my questions. Some information back to us.
It's a concern that the artist doesn't have to pay this. So.
I understand. I'll ask the questions.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So this is Commissioner Bruner, I just wanted to add to that. Some of the discussion of radial symmetry, since it could not be installed when it was first targeted to be installed, and that had nothing to do with the artist, it had to do with work in Main Street that had to be addressed that I don't think they were aware of when they first got the timeline of the project. So fast forward, the discussion was that radial symmetry would not go in until all of Main Street was completed, rather than have it installed when they're still in construction and have to worry about it being damaged in some way. So it's kind of like you put your jewelry on last, that's kind of how they look at it. That being said, there was a very healthy discussion about the cost of steel or whatever it is he's fabricating it out of, and how those prices fluctuate. So it's not only a storage, you pay for storage, and how long you pay for storage, but it's a steel. And what is the cost of steel at any given time? And so purchasing is working with Lou to address all of that stuff. And so that he's okay, and so that he can work within the budget he signed up for. So,
Then, Commissioner Diener, I'm assuming that Lou knows of this, will be to 2018?
I'm sorry?
I'm assuming that he knows,
That
Yes.
Lou? Oh, yes.
Yes.
because maybe it'll help him.
Oh, absolutely. Purchasing is, and Public Works are working with Lou very closely on all of it and helping him with everything they can help him with.
Right.
It's not an adversarial position at all, and we always look at the contracts to protect the artist. That's kind of how we see our job. So, but things do happen, and I understand what you're saying, Jerry. We've seen it too.
Yeah.
You never know what's around the corner.
Once the piece is complete, does the artist still maintain ownership, or does it then become owned by the city? And then when does the artist get paid?
When it's installed, he gets paid at certain points that we call deliverables,
Uh-huh.
when he has completed certain phases. Like they've made this contract where when it's signed and he finishes with his insurance and has been given a go-ahead by the city, he immediately gets some money up front to buy his materials. And then there's another, and I don't have it memorized, but there's another deliverable, and he'll get small portions, and then he gets I think it finally came down to about $17,000 at the end whenever it is finally installed.
Installed. Oh, gee.
But he gets pretty much most of the money right up until
Okay.
it's finally delivered.
Then he owns it until it is installed,
Yes.
because he won't have been paid until it is
Mhm.
installed.
And this
Okay.
is Commissioner Deer, and that's the reason for his, he has to have insurance.
All right.
But once the city takes ownership of it, it's the city's property.
Right.
And that's once it's installed. And we sign off. The Arts Commission says, yes, we love it, we agree, we accept it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, report by Sandy Carpel, Chair of the Project Development Subcommittee regarding FY17 projects. All words. Chair.
We've had several meetings, and the proposal is in our little loose leaf here under 7 point. And originally, we had 4 items from last year. I believe it was last year in 2015. Things have changed since then, and we have a new proposal. The 4 items are now redefined. The West Las Vegas Arts Center wayfinding sculpture is still on our list, and the money of $75,000 with your approval will be put in reserve for it. The utility box painting, the art commission, we recommend the art commission give that $15,000. The alley artistic enhancements, there is an alley downtown that private citizens, private companies are going to change this a mess to something that we hope quite lovely. And we recommend $15,000 be given to that. And the Scotch 80s Gateway sculpture, which there will be a match from the community of $7,500 remains on the proposed items. So we have a total of $112,500, the same as last year, but allocated a little bit differently. This is our recommendation. And any questions?
This is before Mrs.
Then-
Lee. Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Michaels. Were formal proposals put through for the fee? I didn't know how you came up with these dollar amounts in each particular.
Well, item 1 and 4 were the same as last year, where there was actual formal proposals and stuff. Item 2 and 3, item 3, we had a presentation actually at last month's meeting. I think it was at last month's meeting. And then we discussed it at the new projects meeting. And the utility box painting, since we had allocated money for other banners and some micro grants, and since the city is working on these utility box paintings, we thought we would contribute to that as well.
Number 6.
And for the Scotch 80s Gateway sculpture, do other neighborhoods have an opportunity to apply for similar?
Well, we were open to any suggestions, anyone that had anything, and these are what we got.
But I was curious what announcement went out to the community about the ability to even apply? Because Scotch 80s is a relatively small neighborhood in the big scheme of the
The
city.
community didn't, as an individual, in this case, it was our former chairman who did.
I just want to make sure that other similarly situated historical neighborhoods had an equal opportunity to apply for funding
There
for
was no
artwork.
public, this is Commissioner Deer, no public notice went out about the opportunity to do a gateway piece in everybody's neighborhood within the city boundaries. And no public notices go out about our annual, this meeting, bring great projects, come up with ideas.
No, I get it. I guess for me, looking at it from responsibility as a commissioner on this board, I don't know that I can support a project that one particular commissioner sought after that actually affects their particular neighborhood. When other neighborhoods, there's many, many wonderful historic neighborhoods in that same area of town, didn't have an opportunity to seek
So,
out.
can I ask a question? Because it sounds like you're saying there almost needs to be a process.
Yeah, if it's something that's particular to a neighborhood and a neighborhood's going to benefit from it, I feel, I don't know.
Because I think we all discussed the west side, which is really particularly relevant
Right.
important.
I have no
So
question
just
about
make
that one,
sure-
I just have a question about the
Right,
Scotch
right,
tape.
no, just
Yeah.
using that as an example as opposed to like an important place that it needs to happen,
Right.
if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, Commissioner Diener, again, it was approved last year in 2015. It just hasn't been executed, so it's still on as one of the projects that were approved last year.
I
I don't know if you were at the meeting, I don't know.
I wasn't at the meeting when that was approved, because I would have raised this issue then. I mean, I live in that same area of town, and I would never come forward and say, oh, I'm on the Arts Commission, we should have a sculpture outside my neighborhood. I just have to voice that I think that that's something we should consider.
This is Commissioner Ogilvy. She brings up a good point. Do you have like a site selection checklist that you go through to decide on where the artworks are going to be sited?
You know,
No?
And that was what I was supporting too, the process that we have, so
Yeah.
that we're,
And if there was a formalized process and this was picked, then I'll shut my mouth. But it doesn't sound like that. It just sounds like, hey, if any of us feel like we should have art outside our neighborhood, we can put it in the budget, and that doesn't feel right to me.
and I guess I'll open it up, because this was last year's too that we were talking about.
Yeah, and I
all this
wasn't
stuff.
at the meeting, and so I
Should we
apologize.
revisit it?
but-
I mean, is it worth revisiting? Because you have two items on here that, actually, I don't think the West Las Vegas Arts Center is worth revisiting. I think we all have an agreement on that one. But the other three are worth revisiting, it seems like. Or visiting, because I don't know anything about the utility box or how the artistic enhancements.
This is Commissioner Ogilvy. I'm curious about the location for the utility box paintings. What you were talking about extending Maryland Parkway, what the county had done from Russell Road to Desert Inn. Is that the plan?
I would be asking this Commissioner Diener, the utility box painting was suggested by Commissioner Alvarez at the last meeting, and probably based on what you do for the county, Michael. And this was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Paco, in lieu of the banners, you had suggested switching over to basically the ZAP project. We just call it utility box
Mhm.
painting, because the county calls it the ZAP project. So, and putting it down Maryland Parkway, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's what the notes say.
Has there been any discussion in regards to how the 15,000 will be broken up? How many boxes are going to be painted?
The discussion was based on your input, that the county pays $2,500 per artist for 4 boxes. So
It was actually 4 to 5 boxes.
45 boxes. So at $15,000, you get 6 artists, you'd wind up really with 24 boxes for $15,000.
Okay.
And then if we approve this, how will they select where those boxes, which particular boxes get put in?
Well, and we've gone out and again, Commissioner Diener, and we've looked again, and I know, Commissioner Kern, you and I kind of had some conversation about, I don't even know the difference between a power box and a water meter box or a signal box. And evidently there are. Rebecca, who's attending the Public Art Network conference in Boston right now, went out there and did, physically, she tried to look at the maps the city had, could not identify them. So she went out physically, she identified 4 boxes that she said were either traffic control, Nevada Energy boxes, or belonged to the water district. She didn't know which, but it looked like there were 14 public utility boxes available on that stretch of Maryland Parkway.
If you could send me pictures, this is Commissioner Ogilvy, I can identify all those, which belongs to which, usually from, because there's specific shapes and sizes that each of those companies have. So, and then the way the county goes about identifying the boxes is we basically look at the condition of it. So part of doing the murals is prepping the boxes.
Yep.
And if the box is in really bad shape, that means the artist is going to do a lot of prep work. So we try and get boxes that are in good shape.
To keep costs down.
Yeah.
This is Commissioner Kern, and the discussion was, we have probably a surplus budget in what's needed from Maryland, from Charleston to Stewart, location-wise, so we would identify other sort of high-traffic areas downtown that might make sense. I'm thinking, I suggested Main Commerce, Fremont, with all the improvements that are happening on Main and Commerce, and Fremont's a pretty high pedestrian area as well, so I think the specific locations would need to be formalized.
This is Commissioner Junior. I'll just jump in here and say that, you know, you're a real hands-on group, which is terrific. Maybe a committee of this group could go out and select boxes. Michael, you might want to chair that committee.
Yeah, no, sure.
Can we organize that committee right now?
I don't know, Bob, it's not.
It's gotta be an ad hoc thing, right?
Yeah.
Usually, I think it would be better if we put it on the next agenda.
Okay. All right. Well, there's been some discussion about the boxes and the Scotch 80s piece. Do we want to continue, I mean, go ahead with that, or hold off on approving it for further discussion in committee and those who would like to?
This is only on for, no, it's not on for action, just a
Oh.
report.
Oh,
So-
okay, well,
Not until 9. When we get to 9.
when we get to 9, all right.
So I'd like to ask if maybe we could get some more understanding on this Scotch 80s gateway sculpture and what was contemplated by it, and sort of maybe if we need to revisit that item. Just because I'm just worried about the fairness of the selection process to spend city money on a piece of art, you know, to make
All
sure
I'm here
that
for is the vote.
all, you know, if there's other historical neighborhoods that are interested in having a piece of art, that they had an opportunity to speak up and say, or if this maybe isn't, you know, the best use of the money from a city perspective. And I have nothing against Scotch 80s. I grew up there. I love that neighborhood. So it's not about the neighborhood, it's more about the process.
Fairness.
And is it fair to all?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Bob, then? Would it be, since I think this has thrown some shade on this item, that it could be re-agended in September, and maybe somebody from that neighborhood would come and speak on its behalf, probably Steve Rogan, who put it on there?
No, and I have no doubt why
Or
the
answer
neighbors
your
would want it. I
questions.
guess I'm just more trying to understand, for me at least, is this something that I can support if there was no process to actually
And
make
he
the
might be able
selection?
to answer that better.
Okay.
Is that possible?
That's fine, I mean, you can do that, but you don't need to take any action formally on this, because it's not agendized for me.
So I would, Member Eagleman, I would like to know more about the alley artistic enhancements since I have such a great alley behind my business. So I'd love to know more about what the proposal is for that. Because I have low hanging fruit in my alley that I'd love to see. There's a wall that needs a statement piece, so.
Sure, this is Commissioner Curran. The alley in particular is the T alley, as it's known, between Fremont, Carson, Las Vegas Boulevard, and 6th Street. If you're familiar, it's a pretty terrible alley in its current state. There's dumpsters everywhere and trash. And the city has identified, has recognized this, and is willing to sort of repave it. And a coalition of property owners on that block, of which there are 4, has sort of loosely organized in an effort to sort of take that alley. The city's going to make it good, and then we hope to make it great, if you will. So we're going to remove all the dumpsters, and the downtown project has donated a portion of its land to the back of the Eden parking lot. It's approximately $200,000 value of that land, and they will build a trash compactor and recycle zone on that parcel. So that will remove all the dumpsters in the alley. All of the businesses will then take all of their trash and recycling to that dumpster, to that trash and recycle zone. With the freeing up of those dumpsters, that in itself will sort of clean up the alley in a lot of ways, but where we plan to put artistic benches in, that was the discussion that it might make sense for the Arts Commission to sponsor those in particular. We plan to have murals on the walls, landscaping, lighting, at least in its initial phase, and then eventually perhaps a shade structure. We might be getting more granular than we need to now, but there's a cost savings to putting all the trash for that block on that one pickup zone. So currently the entire block is paying about $6,000 a month in trash pickup fees. In its new format, it'll be about $4,000. So that $2,000 per month savings will go towards first the repayment of the construction of the trash and recycling zone, and then to the maintenance and further enhancements of the alley going forward. So it's a lot of moving parts with the city, with public works and planning and traffic and a lot of other different departments, the business owners, but I think we have a great opportunity to take an alley that's pretty terrible and make it really great.
So this is part of the alley beautification, right? Because they looked at a few alleys, and so you're gonna come in it from Public Works, which will do the structural component of it, it sounds like. They'll donate that part, and then the Art Commission is looking to support the artistic.
The artistic enhancements, right, and it was discussed that artistic benches would probably be a good consideration for that. Yes, and the city's already actually done the same on the alley behind Emergency Arts and Park in that whole block. They redid that alley just this past week, and it's a major improvement, but they sort of left it there.
The first one they did was a little interesting, but yeah. So are we gonna like go into the granular part of it? So we understand, or is this it?
This is meeting.
Yeah, like what's the next step? So we discuss this and then what?
Well, the committee met, went over different items, and made a proposal.
Yep.
Now it's up to the commission. If the commission is in agreement with this, then it can be formalized.
Oh, okay.
If it's not, we can have further discussion. All we did was save a lot of time for everyone, bring forward some proposals, and then it's up to the commission to decide.
So I would say that there's a couple things that do need deeper conversation. Because they're new, like this alley concept and the Scott Judy's project. So I mean, are we gonna agendize them, I guess is the question? Do we agendize them? Because the other two.
Was on the list last year,
Right, but now we're kind of,
looking at it.
yeah,
Well, then the proposal was made to have former Commissioner Grogan come in and discuss that and give more information and answer any questions.
yeah.
And that might be something to schedule for the meeting in the fall at some point.
So it sounds like you
That
might
sounds
want
good.
more information on the alley project.
Yeah, right. Because when I read it, it's like, great. Because I know that they talked about when they were doing the other project too, it's like I'd love to see the money spread out a little bit. In the sense that like they were talking about it's not really a formal alley, but the alley that's by Artifice and the alley that's over by behind Rock and Nichols as a part of the alley beautifications. So again, I'd like to see what the system is and like include everybody. Maybe that's too democratic, I don't know. Maybe that's being silly.
This is Commissioner Junior again. Perhaps if we're done having this discussion, even though it's not granular, it's kind of like medium rock size. Do we move on to 9 or?
Yes,
move
number
on
9.
To 8, right?
Well,
Because we have people here waiting to make a presentation on a different topic. But agenda number 9 is when we vote on this, on the new projects committee's proposal. And then you can have a better discussion of maybe you only want to approve 1 and 2, and then hold the other 2 in advance for further discussion or whatever. But that would be on agenda item number 9. Everybody okay with that?
yeah.
Then maybe we move on to 8.
Is everybody okay? All right.
Yes.
All right. Item number 8, a presentation by Gina Venglass, Engineering Project Manager of the Department of Public Works regarding Project Neon.
And I'm going to actually step in. I know, this is Commissioner Junior again. You're going to be tired of hearing me. I just wanted to, before Christina Swallow gets up, working with Gina Venglass and talks about Project Neon, I just wanted to update the Arts Commission a bit on what Project Neon is. You've all heard of it. Everybody, you can't pick up a newspaper without seeing it. It's huge. But the component that interacts and that has to do with the Arts Commission occurred in 2011. The Arts Commission contracted with CoLab to come up up with an artist team, which they did. They called their project Neon Gateway, but that project name was changed. And Gina told me why, and that was because it was too confusing with NDOT's project Neon name. So the name was changed then to Neon Dunes and the Neon Dunes team. The team also changed. Two of the members are the same. Zach, who's done many art projects for us, and Drew, who's also done projects for us. The newest member is Clemente. I'm not sure who you replaced on that team. So I just want to kind of give you the background, because when we originally did it, and it was a really great project, and we were all involved with it, and we all got excited, and everybody in the community, we heard from a lot of arts people in the arts community. We actually even got some kudos from the county that this was pretty cool to be able to work with NDOT. And NDOT's embraced the project, and so now it's changed, right? There's 5 years this past, we knew 5 years time would pass and that the project would morph and change depending on how the project itself changed. The biggest hurdle was getting people to accept getting artists on the design team of a project of this magnitude. So that was fantastic. Now I'm going to turn it over to the Public Works engineers who are spearheading this project to explain where we're at with it now, because now you're really going to start to see it and you'll understand what it is. Thank you.
Where do you want me to? Just go here.
We're going to do a PowerPoint, but unfortunately the audiovisual equipment is not working, so everybody has a paper copy.
Hi, I'm going to stand here because you guys are full at the table and I don't want to be speaking to anyone fast. I am Christina Swallow. I'm the Engineering Program Manager in the Department of Public Works, working with Gina on this project. And Nancy gave us already a pretty good background, so a little bit of this we'll be able to go through, but if you have your slides in front of you, it'll probably be instructive to help just go through it. So on the first slide, just go ahead and flip to the next page, the background. That slide looks like this. And so the first group of artists that we had when we started out, as Commissioner Diener gave us background on, provided a really cool concept, a neon gateway. They had a lot of reeds on a bridge that was going to be the Grand Central Parkway Bridge over Charleston. That was the main component of their artwork. And then they had some other neon pieces to it. The key on this, though, is if we go to the next two slides, you'll see that initially, as I mentioned on this slide right here first, there used to be a bridge that crossed over, Grand Central Parkway used to cross over Charleston. And that's why the big theme of the artwork was decorating that bridge. As you come into downtown, that was the gateway. But as time has passed with the design of the project, the overall project, the Project Neon, that bridge was eliminated. So that key component of the infrastructure is no longer there, and therefore the art wasn't going to be on there. So in addition, that also changed the view and the landscape that you would see as a driver coming in. There's going to be a lot more of the NDOT landscaping that we'll be seeing. So on the next slide, sorry, mine are smaller, but on the next slide, you'll see how that layout changes significantly. So now there's a lot more of the NDOT landscaping that we'll be seeing. It's that they are not doing the same thing that they've done throughout the valley. They're actually doing what they're calling a Meadows Redux, which is going to be themed based on what Vegas was at the Springs Preserve. There's going to be a lot of flora and fauna from that, some reed images. There's going to be tortoises and jackrabbits. So it's going to be slightly different than what they've done throughout the rest of the valley. It's going to be focused on sort of what our Central Valley looked like in the Meadows Redux. So we wanted the artists to make sure to develop concepts that would blend with the Meadows Redux, but then also work as sort of the gateway into the valley as they re-envisioned what the art might look like without the bridge and the big theming piece. So then moving on, there's actually, before we actually move on, I'm going to just point out there's two pieces, two structures, two sculptures that they'll be building, one on the northwest corner and one on the northeast corner. You can't see them very well there, so I'm going to just tell you, we'll go to the next slide and you'll see the first one. The first sculpture is Hot Dip. Hot Dip. And that sculpture is a large-scale sculpture that will be comprised of steel angle posts that will vary in height and density as they emanate out from the core of the sculpture. They're going to be, as they vary with their height, they're also going to vary with paint and texture, so that you have a varying pattern as you're walking by or driving by. That sculpture will be on the northwest corner of the intersection of Grand Central Parkway and Charleston, and you can get a better view of what that might look like as you're approaching from the north on Grand Central Parkway towards Charleston on the next slide. So you can sort of see the reeds there, the vertical components in both of these two slides of hot dip. You can see the vertical components as they go out, and they vary, the coloring varies as you go vertically on each of the angle posts. The second sculpture is Found Font. And this sculpture is influenced by the font shapes and patterns that we've seen in the historical vintage Vegas signs. And it's supposed to be reminiscent of a sign that you might find after some time resting peacefully in a boneyard. So it's supposed to maybe show like that it's aged a little bit and have some texture that you get from that component. And I have a couple of images of this, and there was one in the daytime. But if you look at the one in the nighttime, I also want to point out to you a couple of things. It's this one. If you look at that one, there's a couple things I want to just highlight in this sculpture, or this image. This one, hot dip will also have lighting elements to it. We just don't have a rendering yet of what hot dip will look like in the evening. So that's the first thing just to keep in mind. It will also have light elements. The second, if you can see in the background, underneath the Charleston Bridge there, that's the Charleston Bridge, you can see in the background there's some light panels underneath the bridge. Those are part of NDOT's artwork. So they're going to be doing artwork as well. They're going to have those similar panels to those also under the Western Bridge and under the Symphony Park Bridge. So those three bridges will all have lit panels that will be part of their Meadows Redux, and they may have other artistic components of their work as well. So we're trying to make sure that all of the art works together, but also welcomes people into our downtown and makes this a really interesting part of the valley as you exit the freeway. The next image is Found Font just from the aerial perspective, so you can see sort of how that sign might have to have some structural supports on it. And then an image from the south as you're heading north down towards Charleston, West 8, or on Grand Central Parkway. So how does this all work and how does this all fit? So as Commissioner Diener pointed out, this is a partnership project with NDOT, and we worked with them. They are doing the project. They're building the project as a design-build project, and Kiewit is the construction lead on that. As they put this out to bid, we provided them with 30% drawings, and then the design builder teams had to look at what that would cost and develop. And so now they are, once they won it, they are now actively working on designing the rest of the project neon components, all of the roadways, all of the bridges. They're designing them as they build them. So you've already seen some construction out there. They started construction. Construction will continue through 2019. The majority of the landscape and artworks will be installed at the end of 2019 once all of the construction is complete, so that they're new, putting our jewelry on last, so that they're new when the project gets done. There will be some components, however, so you may see, just kind of as a heads up, if they're residential adjacent, they're going to put the landscape in at the time that they finish the work there because it's adjacent to a neighborhood. But in general, majority of their work, including ours, will be constructed and installed at the end of construction during 2019. One of the cool things about this is the design build team wasn't required to have an artist on their team, but we felt, the city felt it was very important that the artists be able to continue to interact and work with the development of their final development of their pieces. They gave us, like I said, 30% drawings, but that's the structural components weren't done, and how are these things going to stand, and how are they final going to work, how is the fabrication going to look like. And so NDOT has hired the artists to help provide consultation throughout the design to hopefully make sure that the pieces stay true to their vision and their intent. So that's one of the really cool things that our partnership with NDOT has allowed us to move forward with. So we're excited about that. And I guess sort of there's like 2 more slides here, just a couple of things. If you have questions about what's going on with the art, specifically the city art, definitely help provide answers on that. She's also our lead in public works with Project Neon. And Project Neon themselves has many different ways of communicating where you can get information, and I'm just sharing this with you because everybody wants to know what's going on and what's being torn up, why, and when. So they have all the social media, they have a hotline, they have a public outreach office, and then on top of that, we as a city are participating in multi-day or meetings, multiple days of the week, every week while they're going through the design. So we're actively engaged in helping make sure that the project is moving forward and represents what we want it to be in a great way, great entrance into our community. You guys have any questions?
So, what's the Neon Dunes then?
Oh, I skipped that part. So Neon Dunes is what they came up with when they went back to it. So instead of Neon Gateway, so the Neon Gateway was what their initial concept was, but NDOT named in Project Neon, they named the Neon Gateway actually the HOV ramps that come off closer to Western. So Project Neon's Neon Gateway Project Neon has a Neon Gateway. So as they started to look at how do you blend their Neon Gateway concept with the Meadows Redux, they've renamed their concept Neon Dunes.
What does the found font actually read?
It doesn't read. It's reminiscent of font patterns and shapes that you might see.
Who came up with the concept of Meadows Redux?
That's NDOT.
There's no, it's not progressive like ProLab came up with it.
Right.
You know, and the highways are nice, you know, but this is the gateway to our arts district and to downtown. It could be a little bit more fabulous. And right now it's just very, Meadows Redux.
It's
Saying.
yes.
Do you know when the timeline is, I'm sorry, when do you anticipate this phase?
2019 at the very end. Because they're sculptures, they can be implemented at the end, and it'd be best to keep them out of
Right.
harm's way.
Jewelry.
Yes, jewelry at the end. Yeah.
One thing that might be a problem we can do at the end is all that landscaping. Especially if we have to use boom trucks or any kind of a lift device, you'll have to run over the landscaping, redo the landscaping.
So NDOT's actually doing the landscaping and the artwork all at the same time.
Okay, so if I do that half.
Yeah, so keep it as they install it, they'll figure out the best phasing to make sure that they protect everything that needs to be protected and phase it correctly.
Michael, can I piggyback that because there's some palm trees that are on the east side of the Grand Central Parkway that it's like, so are they gonna just take those out? Are they gonna, that's like some pretty significant trees that are there.
So,
Yes, we're actually working with Kiewit to relocate some of the plant material that's existing in the corridor. We're actually going to be starting that relocation work in the next week or two with a contractor that was hired for another project. They're going to take some of those palms and move them into the pocket park project that Marty's working on over here by the Arts District and Arts Way. So that's pretty cool. I don't think it is the palms all the way to the east, but the more expensive palms we are going to be relocating. So you're going to see that here real quick.
there's some significant changes to the roadway that basically the trees would be going away. And so this way we're going to be able to remove them, but also replace the landscaping and upgrade the landscaping as we go.
Then they will get new fresh trees, but we're trying to salvage. We're salvaging some on Oakey, some near MLK, the median palms at Grand Central. So there's a handful that we're able to relocate and reuse on a city project. Another thing to mention is they're going to be starting construction in July at Grand Central, Parkway, and Charleston. However, the configuration that's going in right now is going to be completed by the end of the year is sort of an interim configuration that will help bleed traffic off the I-15 as they're constructing the I-15 corridor. So just so nobody gets alarmed, like, wait, they've been out there, now they just finished work at Grand Central and Charleston. It's going to finish on an interim basis until the freeway is completed, and then they'll come back and reconfigure the road in its final form and put in this landscaping and art.
I don't want to ask this question, but I will because I've been having this conversation because there's so much work going on in the couplet that parkway really needs to remain
two art components. There's a component by CoLab, and then there's this under the bridge component. NDOT is calling art. Have they hired an artist? And there's an artist working on it.
This was developed by NDOT like over the past 15 years, and I'm honestly not aware if they hired an artist or not to develop the Meadows Redux theme. But I know that it went through all of the public meeting process and was vetted for years and years. We can certainly like look into that for you if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to know that they're calling it art. I'm just curious
And
who the artist is.
are they calling it art or enhancements?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think they call it their LNA
Landscape and aesthetics.
package.
If I could mention, they call the turtles spaghetti art. I think they bought them from a manufacturer in Arizona.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Right. Commissioner Edelman. So my question is there going to be room for more or something more statement-esque? Because the CoLab art that we had seen a long time ago was really quite a statement and quite a gateway into downtown, as you were mentioning. This is kind of like not quite a statement, I'll put it. Is there going to be any consideration in the future for something that's more of a statement?
At this time with this project, this is what we're able to have in, this is what the contractors bid on providing. So that's what we have at this point.
They have, I mean, this is just a suggestion, this is Commissioner Ogilvy. They're paying CoLab as the artist, as part of the artist component. And they had this original design that I thought was really great. I can see that original design actually working much better than what they've got under the bridge here. If they were to just transfer that to the bridge, I think it would be much more unified. It should certainly look a lot better. Maybe they can call it art.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened was, there was a boundary of what the city funding covered and what NDOT's funding covered, and so our funding wasn't at the Charleston underpass, because Charleston is an NDOT roadway, and that was their area and their funding source, so.
Thank you very much. I mean, there's probably ones that I think you guys have done a good job personally. Having worked with you guys all these years on this, yay. Because it was a struggle. We were worried about the partnership at all. And so it's, I'd say little victories, not bigger victories. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to item 9. Discussion for possible action regarding approval of the annual projects plan, general fund, $49,141, and percent for the arts fund, $161,014. All awards. Do we have any, well, we've had discussion, any additional discussion?
I'm sorry, can I ask a question about the funding amounts?
Yes.
Is it 161 plus 49, or is the 49 included in the 161? They're the rates.
This is Patricia
I'm
Harris.
sorry, Mrs. Stacy.
It's 49,141 plus the 161,14. In your packet is this sheet here. Rebecca did this before she left, and it outlines where the money lies and what the money pays for. Over under the general fund, you'll see some items that have prices next to them. Fees next to them. And these are programs and projects that you have approved year after year after year to be paid out of the general fund. We did not use all of the general fund this year. The actual amount that was spent out of the $49,000 was $19,322. So you did spend that. We didn't spend a couple of these items because
I'm sorry, where does it show that on here? this is really confusing to me.
If you go down where it says total,
Mm-hmm.
you see the figures that are in parentheses, the red figures,
Yeah.
and the column that says spent.
Mm-hmm, but that's 15, you just said 19.
Right. I checked the numbers. She had got them incorrect. That's why I'm telling you.
Oh, okay, that's what I was like, it's not matching up.
And I didn't have a chance to correct it before we printed it.
Okay.
So we actually spent 19,322 because some of these expenditures weren't made because of some construction that was supposed to happen at Charleston Heights. That didn't happen, but we canceled the programs. So those expenditures will happen in FY17, and that's why we left them on the budget as programs and projects that you normally fund. Am I confusing you?
No, I mean, I understand, it's just, it's hard because all these numbers don't all total up to the same thing.
We put the columns in the middle in the blue as public works funding.
Okay.
We have no control over the public works funding.
Right.
They're just there so that you can see the projects that we are involved in, that the money came from
Yep.
public works. And then the next column is your percent for the arts projects. And those are the projects that you approve through the project development committee's recommendations.
So last year we spent 148.
No, 148 was what 148 was what was anticipated to be funded out of the 302. You approved last year 112.5.
Okay.
Okay. And to date, you've not spent any of that 112.5. What we have spent is below where you see the 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's been set aside each year for maintenance. And those figures below that are what we have spent from that 60,000. Encumbered or spent. And encumbered means we've put a purchase order out there, but we haven't completed the project yet. If you look at the box over on the side, those are maintenance items. The top is what we did this year. The bottom part that starts with art fire hose is what Rebecca is anticipating being spent in FY17.
I'm still a little confused. I'm so sorry.
Is it me?
I apologize.
No, you don't have to. I apologize. I didn't look at this. I didn't look at this as well as I should have.
Because it's really important to understand whether that 49 is an addition to the 161, which, I'm sorry, a member might pose. Is that what you're asking too?
Yeah.
And so it's like, because that's a significant,
The reason that they're separated
Is the sources.
is the sources.
Right.
The general fund,
Yep.
which means any general fund money has to be spent from July 1 to June 30th of the next year. And then it's gone. You no longer have that money anymore. So right now you can sit here and know that that $49,000 is gone.
But my question is, how do we know that it was gone because it's not totally accounted for on the spreadsheet?
It's gone because you didn't spend it.
But then why didn't we spend money?
Some of it was anticipated to be spent. Some of it wasn't spent, and it wasn't because, as I said, we were anticipating construction up at Charleston Heights. Some of the other projects, it didn't happen simply because we lost staff and didn't get staff back on in time to get some of it spent. You'll get that same funding beginning July 1st.
$49.
But we lost 30 $30,000 that we could have spent that we didn't.
Correct.
Why not use it? Why?
Did we know that that was gonna happen?
It wasn't anticipated. It was anticipated that there would be $10,000 that could be used for other projects. Again, it's simply a matter of not having enough staff to do the projects that you wanted us to do.
So look, this is Commissioner Coppell. Looking at your spreadsheet, obviously it doesn't add up going down. It's
Right.
not a spreadsheet, it's not an Excel piece of math.
Right.
We had 49,141. What did we actually spend?
You actually spent $19,322.
So that's not even here.
No, it says 15,000. I rechecked the figures before I came down.
Okay, if you add up the red in the spend column, the red parentheses items, I believe it does add up to 19,322. Is that what we actually spent?
That's what you actually spent.
Okay, so then disregard the 15, whatever that is, 15,359, and the 10,000 parentheses at the bottom. So it's just showing these few items that we actually spent, and then if you compare it with the first column, which is allocated, that's what we didn't spend. We didn't spend 4,000 on Celebrating Life,
Right?
lecture series, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and that money is gone.
Yes, but it refunds July 1st.
Right, so
All
on
of that
July
money
1st, we will
refunds.
have another 49,141
Yes.
with the same allocations.
Yes. Unless for some reason you should decide that you want to change some of them.
God help us. Okay, so
Is
this
there-
is what we have right now. Again, we will have all these numbers. And how do they get spent?
We present to you what we would normally spend 49,000 on,
Right,
okay? You approve that,
right.
and then we come back to you in September and tell you what you have remaining, so that when you talk about other projects in September, you know that you have that much money left
In addition to the 49,000? No.
remaining from the 49,000. Unless you decide not to fund some of these projects.
When do we have that discussion of what projects to fund?
So that's separate from the 112,500?
Yes.
So where this says, we have general fund of 49,141 and percent for the arts fund 161,01. Is that right?
Right.
So where does this other money come? It's not on, that's separate, the money that we were talking about before from the new projects committee? I'm not crucifying you, I'm just confused.
No, I'm just not understanding your question.
Okay, I was a chair of a subcommittee
Correct.
that had $112,500.
Right.
Not that we had, it was burning a hole in our pocket, but that was money that we had.
Right.
In addition, we have so far last year and this year, 49,141, separate and above from that.
Right.
And then, what's this 16114? We also have that, or is that Public Works?
The 161, the 161.14 is what is in the fund. You are proposing to allocate 112.5 from that.
So what about the other?
So that's 161, so that's what it is. Okay, so if you get the 49,141, which is on the spreadsheet, and the 112, you get the 161. That's how, it does, it adds up.
But I thought we had 49 plus 161.
You
No.
do.
But nothing
You
on
do.
here says 161.
No, I came up, I did that. It's not on here. I came up with that number before. I had to come up with a budget number for the agenda.
Okay, and the budget
Rebecca
number.
worked on this.
So what's the total we have? We have 16114?
No, we have 200,000 something and change.
Okay. So over the summer, some money may get spent based on, because life goes on even though we don't meet. And then in September, we'll see what's left and then we can determine the best way to use that, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, thank you.
No, you know, it's just this, the end of the year, I was trying to get the budget for all of you, to get all the budget
Oh,
figures.
it's a monumental task, there's no question.
Because it's a matter of the city having to get in their big budget at the very same time, I could not get to our analyst to give me the figures.
No, the problem is that it's just, we're just looking at numbers, and if they don't
If
gel,
they
then
don't
what are we
add
looking
up,
at?
it
Yeah.
looks bad, yes.
What I'm frustrated by is that we lost 30,000 that could be out there with murals or utility. You know, we need something that hops that's ready to go. I feel like if there's ever this again.
But yet it takes so long, I've learned slowly, that it takes years to get from where we talk it to death to actually happening. And no, and it's fine, I mean, that's life.
Well, the government works very slow.
Is there anything, because you said we have the money, I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Michaels, we have the money, has to be spent by the end of June. Is there anything out there in the world of possibility to spend any remaining even $1 on, just so we don't lose it? Can we buy brochures? There was a line item of $1,000 for brochures. Can we buy the brochures?
We can look into seeing if we can get some more of the brochures printed before the end of the year.
I'm trying to not waste, to not lose the money, that's all.
Mhm.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
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 If you would like to do that, you know, then as you're approving this, whatever you're going to approve in this line item, you can put that you'd like to have us spend whatever we can get printed by the end of June.
Commissioner Michaels, I want to point out, we're one of the largest cities in the country without a regranting program to give money to nonprofit organizations. And so any extra money like that, we should be able to just give it to organizations that are involved with the arts.
I don't think we're, I mean, I agree with you, but I don't think we're permitted, we have to go through a process to do that, and we lose the money before we go through that process.
But it's something consistent, consider in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a political thing. I mean, you can go to our councilman and to the mayor and say, look, this is an issue.
Does this Commissioner Kern, does this money go to the general fund if we don't use it?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, this is Patricia Harris. One of the ways, you don't call it regranting, but the ways that we support our local artists is when we do our programming, we're very aware of how much money we're supposed to have, and we make that plan. You know, one of the things was to do 2 micro projects of $5,000 each. Again, and I hate to use it for an excuse, but it's an excuse. We have just been grossly shorthanded. It takes a lot of process to get these projects done, and if we are down a staff person, those projects don't get finished. And unfortunately for us, we're trying. I've been trying to fill these positions for 2 years.
So what can we do to help you guys make that happen? Because that's something we can do.
Because you have a room full of warm bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, as simple as that, with various expertise.
You know, it's just part of the process. It's just like, you know, Nancy announced at the last meeting that we thought we had someone hired. We were very excited about this person. We were told he accepted the position, and then last week during some other interviews that we were doing, I was told he did not pass the background check. Those are the kinds of things that we don't know. You know, these are the kinds of things that we can't anticipate until you get the person here or until they don't pass, and then you have to start the process over to do it again. Now, we do have 3 other applicants that we have scheduled interviews with, so we're hoping that they can pass their background checks for whoever we select. It's just a matter of sometimes things work and sometimes things don't work out. And I will tell you, I've had 2 positions, this position and a position in our production services, that we have been recruiting and trying to hire for 2 years for each one of those 2 positions. And it's always, you think you've got someone until suddenly you don't. And it delays these projects for you. sorry?
Are you hiring a new liaison for the commission?
Yes.
And is it local or national?
We did a national search. The person that we were supposed to have come in was out of New York City, as I said. These other 3 candidates are local candidates.
I would prefer local.
So again, is there anything that we can do to help you, help the city?
No.
No, I'd love to say yes, but, you know, we do a recruitment. We put it out there. We see who comes in. We have committees that are, actually, Chair Weinstein sat on this interviewing panel. We interviewed over 14 people. 3 people sat on the panel. They all rate each interviewee, and then we make a decision from those interviews. The person that we initially selected scored higher than anybody else, was more qualified than anybody else that we interviewed, and like I said, everybody was really excited until they weren't. So you just never know. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of like being in Las Vegas. It's a crapshoot about what you're going to get, and it's as frustrating for us as it is for you. But we're hoping, we've got 3 good candidates, and we're hoping to get some, because they're local, to have somebody in here very quickly.
And it's also a political thing. I mean, we as commissioners don't, our hands are not as tied as city employees are.
Mhm.
I mean, we can easily, I can text Bob Kaufman right now. You know, those are the relationships that we have with these individuals. And we just need to lobby them to support the
So-
to continue increasing.
So until the position is there or is already covered, we're bound to lose money, right?
What sounds
We've lost it.
No, I mean,
Unless it can be salvaged in the
yeah.
next 2 weeks.
Now I see.
And, you know, this is Commissioner Diener. For 25 years I sat on this commission, it's happened over and over. And at the end of the year, it always could happen. When our general fund budgets were like $160,000, real healthy budgets, they've taken major hits to the recession in all these years. And we would sit at the end of the year and go, how can we spend this money? And then you have to ask yourself, do we just spend it to spend it? I remember one meeting where one of the commissioners said, let's buy crayons for every child in Las Vegas. Well, that's a worthy cost. Are you really spending public dollars just to be spending them? It goes back to the general fund. It's not like just lit
Right.
up with a match. And there's some fiscal responsibility there too.
But we
to
have.
do projects.
Sorry to interrupt, this is Commissioner Michaels. We had projects that were in the pipeline that were planned for, that were approved. It's not just like burning dollars to burn dollars.
Right, and I would say to that we rarely finish projects in one fiscal year. The aerial gallery will launch in September. That was put on hold because of these positions. That one we will complete, right? But it is not always occurs that you can complete some of these projects in one fiscal year. Generally, they're multi-year projects.
Right,
Small
but if we
projects, the Zap Box projects, if you wanted to devote your time to doing those, we could hammer those out. There's a template, boom, boom, boom. You could say, here's the money, we can get so many boxes done every given year, and you would accomplish that, more than likely. But some of the other projects, due to, like Patricia said, construction concerns, you know, the Charleston Heights project was delayed because Public Works was delayed because who knows, they couldn't buy asphalt in time. Everything hinges on everything else, including radial symmetry. So you can't, it's just not possible to always spend every nickel and dime that you allocate every fiscal year.
Oh, I get that, but there's a difference between not even spending half of the money and spending, you know, not getting to one last project.
But this is Commissioner Diener again. I would say to you, we've probably spent almost $600,000 this year. Not of our money, Public Works money. So it's not as if we're not doing projects. We are doing projects. We're just not doing them with our budget money, which is what we're talking about here. So, I mean, we are busy with other projects. We're just using other people's budgets.
But I said, you know, we sit on this commission and it's like, there's so much to do, I feel like. It's like I want to get
I know, and we do too.
I know you do. You guys work really hard. I know you do.
This is Patricia Harris. I just want to correct something so that you understand about the general fund budget. If you decide to use general fund budget for a project, that project has to begin after July 1st and must be complete and all fees paid before June 15th. The likelihood of anything that you're going to want to do, a major piece, you're not going to be able to get done in that time frame, which is the reason we don't generally use general fund money for projects. That's why we do it for
But we
education processes, for bringing lecturers in, workshops, is because those are the kinds of things that can make a big impact in the community, but you don't have to worry about getting done in a deadline.
And I appreciate that this is Commissioner Michaels, but there are projects that we could do, fund, and complete in a year. We've done it before. You could do the Broken Windows project. We could bring that back and roll that back out. That's like the ZAP project. That's like, it's a per window or whatever it is cost, and so we could plug some of those in, and those are things that would be productive uses of the money to benefit the communities in which they're placed. And I think, people would not consider that spending money just to be spending money.
I think that's a great example, actually.
Yeah.
It makes a significant difference in that community, so.
Yeah.
I just want to mention something, Commissioner Alvarez, I'm putting you on the spot, Michael. You and the county seem to be doing things very quickly. The ZAP project is incredibly successful, has been for many, many years,
Yeah.
over a decade now. And then the sculpture projects that you're doing.
Well, thanks. I think there's less of a hierarchy. I mean, there's certainly a lot of approvals that every project has to go through, but it seems to me that Lakeview is a little bit less in the county, so I don't have as many hurdles to jump to get a project executed, and I think that's a big part of it. But the other part is constantly bugging people. I'll call them, email them, I get responses because I want to, keep these things moving along. So, not to say that they're not doing that, but if they don't have staff, they can't. So.
Well, back to the discussion. We should probably make some sort of decision here as far as approval for the annual projects. We could go one by one and vote on them or defer for further discussion. Any thoughts? Pardon?
I think it's perfect.
Yes? All right, we do that? So we can get through, all right, then, taking project one by one, the West Las Vegas Arts Center wayfinding sculpture for $75,000. Can we do that?
Motion to approve?
Which one now are you looking at?
Looking at FY 17,
Oh,
number one,
okay. Yeah, you can vote on that one if you want.
just one by one,
Yeah.
okay. Is there any more discussion on that? Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second. Commissioner Sackman?
Okay.
For the benefit of the
Yes,
Commissioner Michael, we have a motion on the floor that had been seconded to approve the funding for $75,000.
Oh, okay. For the gates?
It hadn't been voted on yet.
But for the West Las Vegas gate?
No, it's not gates, it's a sculptural piece, the wayfinding piece. in
Oh, okay.
West Las Vegas Arts Center.
okay. All right, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Item number 2, utility box painting for $15,000. Any more discussion on that? Do I have a motion
I'll make a motion.
for approval? Okay, motion,
I'll make a second.
a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, number 3, the alley artistic enhancements. It doesn't specify what, it's just for enhancement. That's to be determined. Any more discussion?
I would like to understand the project a little better. I think you've done it pretty well, but I think that we're really expand it a little bit.
Expand meaning?
Well, I mean, does the 15,000 need to go to one alley, or could we have it go into some other alleys?
Is,
From a budgeting perspective, what's going to be accomplished with 15, is that what you're saying?
Will that be first? Yeah, what are we gonna do with 15? Is it just for one alley? And can we, and could it be
are there other alleys currently being
beautified?
enhanced?
Not to this extent. There are, the city has identified a number of other alleys. They've already repaved one. I know not the alley behind Nacho Daddy hopes to do something. I think this has the grandest scale and is the farthest along that I'm aware of.
15,000, as far as what you might be able to get for $15,000, I don't know. If we started dividing that up into smaller increments to other alleys, and what are those other alleys going to, I mean, this one we're talking about has a number of components that are in place already for enhancement, the support of businesses, and does that same criteria apply to other alleys? And what support would there be for putting something artistic in those alleys for a lesser amount of money? I don't know.
Is there a motion, can I ask Commissioner Diener, is there a motion on the table for this?
A motion to accept it. Yes.
I think,
I'd like to make a different motion. Can I do that, Bob?
You can move to amend it, or ask the person to amend it.
Okay, I'm not sure who made the motion, but whoever you are.
I don't think we made a motion yet. You
Oh,
asked for discussion.
Yeah, I asked for discussion.
So I
Yeah.
think we're in the discussion phase, so you can make your motion.
Well, I think we should make the motion maybe and then have discussion. Yeah, that's okay. I'd like to make a motion that we.
Who made the motion?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Oh, okay, so
So
then
I'm
go
gonna
ahead and
make
make
a
your
motion.
motion.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve $15,000 for alley artistic enhancements, and that we define it in more detail or more granularly, in the September meeting. My motion.
Second? Commissioner second?
Well, wait, are you specifying which alley?
No, I'm saying it will be
Okay.
defined.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Yeah, I'm going to abstain as well.
Can I, or maybe this is a different agenda item, but it ties to this and the comment about Public Works and the work they're doing on alleys. In the past, we've invited Public Works to give us updates on things they're working on. This seems like it's a topic we might be worth discussing with them and understanding what's in the pipeline over the next year and
We
a
can
half.
have them come.
Alley rigs, and maybe there's 5 and we want to fund 5, I don't know.
Right.
So it
You
might
could
be
put
worth-
that under item, you're suggesting a future agenda item.
Yeah.
Under 11.
Okay, sorry, I'll bring it up for that.
Okay,
Good point.
we on to number 4? Okay, item number 4 on the project proposal, Scotch 80s Gateway Sculpture.
Can we have a statement as to the reason for abstaining for the record?
Out of an abundance of caution, I stand nothing to gain from this. My employer is almost annoyed with my obsession with improving this passion project of mine, but my employer does own properties on this alley, and out of abundance of caution.
My employer is Apples.com, may be funding part of this, so it'd be best to listen.
Okay, thank you. Number 4, Scotch 80s Gateway Sculpture. $7,500 from the city and a $7,500 match from a private entity, is that correct? So, but the city would be for $7,500. Any discussion on that?
discuss it number 11.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Okay, do we have conflicting motions here?
Yeah, we'll have to vote on, we have a motion to defer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know she made a motion. I apologize, okay.
We have a motion to defer this to the next meeting, was that your motion?
Yes. I
Okay.
thought I had to wait till 11 to talk about it, sorry. Yes, my motion is to defer it to the next meeting.
Okay. Do you want to have any discussion on that motion? You can make your point that you think
Well, I
we
just-
should approve it, and state your reasons why we should
Yeah,
approve it now.
my feeling is that we vetted it a year ago, and that to go back now and unvet it is kind of, it just doesn't sit well with me.
This is Commissioner Kern. I totally understand your concerns and think we should probably figure out a better process going forward, but I'm in favor of action in general, and this seems like a project that's ready to go. We see what's happened year after year with inaction. We have use it or lose it funds, and I think this
This isn't in the use it or lose it funds.
still my preference for action remains.
Any other comments?
I do have a comment. There's lots of neighborhoods with these gateways. Wouldn't this be more appropriate for the Historic Preservation Commission to fund? If we want a gateway that says Scotch 80s, like the Hundred Chat.
Is that who funds those signages in front of a lot of the historic areas?
City does it.
I don't know, because I think the city has funded other projects like this, not like this, but like the gates at,
Can I ask why this
Was-
wasn't accomplished last year, if it was approved last year, why it's just being carried forward?
Because we didn't have the staff to get all of the work done. And it
Okay.
wasn't just this new as far as funding the general fund, it was the public works stuff we're also working on. When we've jumped on projects, when public works has a project and they go, you want it, we're on it.
Yeah.
So we're
No, I
just
agree
like-
with that. My question
Yeah.
is, would we be better served to allocate $7,500 more to a project we know we can accomplish this year? I'm
And
just
that's a good
gonna
point,
say it.
that's a really good point.
This is Patricia Harris. This is a match. This is a match request. So the neighborhood is raising $7,500, and they asked the commission for $7,500.
Right, but if they asked for this a year ago and they haven't come forward with the full funds to be matched.
Right, there's no guarantee that they may.
Right, we're gonna
match.
keep holding $7,500 that we may never, we could be 3 years before they get their part of the match. And
I
then-
just wanted you to know that it was
But
a
I would say
match.
to that if it wasn't spent, you still have the money, it doesn't go away. Right, so it's not like you're gonna go, oh, we could use that $7,500 somewhere else. You've still got like $161 or $200,000 left to use, so. But you're right, they may not get the match, I don't know, there's no guarantee that they'll get the match.
If I don't know, is there a motion on the floor?
There is a motion, as I understand. from
My motion is
Michael,
to defer it
to defer it to
for
the next
further
meeting.
discussion.
We've had discussion on it. I don't know if we're going to have further discussion, but if the discussion is completed, then we should vote on that motion to whether it passes. If it doesn't pass, then somebody else can make another motion on the item. So is there any?
I just want to say, since there is some questions, maybe the thing to do is to defer it till September. We could have someone representing this item come in, discuss it further with the commission, and make sure that everyone's comfortable with it. Not that we're going to lose money. And if everyone agrees that it is a worthwhile endeavor, and it's being handled properly, then we could go forward. So I'm just adding to her motion.
So you're seconding my motion?
Sure, I'm saying.
So in addition, you made a good point though, going forward, if I heard you correctly, that there should be a systematic approach to this. Am I safe in saying that? Yeah. Okay. Because I think that's an important part of it.
Any further discussion? Oh, go ahead.
This is new territory for me, so. All right, well, we've had a motion, a discussion, and a second to defer the Scotch 80s Gateway Sculpture Project to the September meeting.
When someone is present to discuss it, someone that's
Yes.
involved in the project can discuss it,
Okay.
to clarify it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
One. So noted. All right, thank you.
Motion carries.
Motion carried.
Okay.
Item 10?
I'm sorry, can I ask one more question about
Yes.
the budget? I'm sorry. So you guys budgeted in your subcommittee $112,500 for our the percentage from the arts allocation, but then it was 161, so what happens to the other money? When do we allocate that?
Whenever you decide on a project.
Okay. So if somebody has a project in mind, they bring it to the subcommittee, and then the subcommittee would discuss and then bring it to the full commission?
That was the idea.
Okay. I just want to make sure we all understand going forward.
And Commissioner Deary, we do that annually, I usually do it, always do it in June, is when we call our annual projects planning meeting. And I would say this, just, and I said this at the last meeting, I don't know if you heard me because you were on the phone, but it's like, it looks like a lot of money, it's not a lot of money. When you do we can do little pieces, little public art pieces till the cows come home. And that's fine too, they're community feel-good pieces, but to do a big piece or a significant piece takes a lot more than $161,000.
Right, or could we say we want to earmark, 50,000 and carry it forward to be allocated and lumped together with more and grow the pot to
Well,
a
it'll
big
grow.
fund?
It will grow. The way the ordinance is written, it will grow cap at $1 million. So it'll grow on its own if you don't use it. It's like sometimes you sit here and think, well, we gotta find something to use that, let's do blah, blah, blah. But in reality, you might also think, wow, let's double it or triple it and then really work toward a big project. But that's several years away. Depends on how the capital projects fund. Just wanted to, thank you.
So we can start thinking of $1 million project now?
I've got several in mind.
Okay.
Ouch.
We're gonna do pallets this time.
We forwarded that one.
Okay. We move on?
Yes.
All right, now item number 10, review of public art projects by the Americans for the Arts Public Art Network. You're in review. That-
Because of the time and because we don't have the TV set, you'll find this in your packet. Rather than me going through and reading it to you, you might just want to take a look at it. And then these are just proposals for the awards. They'll be making the awards this week in Boston as to the winning public art pieces. And we can make a presentation in September of the actual award winners
For our information.
for your information,
Okay.
just for your information, because it is getting late. Okay? Is everybody okay with that?
Okay. Can we take these?
Yes,
All right,
yes, they're all yours.
take these home. All right.
This is Commissioner Dingley's place to say, when you see the piece by Dan Corson, we brought him in last year. Let's brought by education, series of energy went to that. His work is amazing.
Okay, on to number 11. Discussion regarding topics for future agenda items by the Arts Commission. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual commissioners shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items, and any discussion shall be limited to whether or not any such proposed item is or are within the purview of the commission, and/or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur, and no action shall be taken regarding the proposal. So what do we want to talk about?
Commissioner Michaels, I'd like to propose that we invite Public Works to give a presentation on alleyways that they're revamping or.
Alley beautification.
Very good.
Christine's involved, she just had her.
Oh, she would have had it.
I thought for a moment she might want to get talked about it.
But she'll probably come back and do it.
Yeah. Okay.
form the, ZAP box committee and to look at what we're calling it, because I don't
Yeah.
know that we can legally call it ZAP. That would be another item.
Somebody said POW.
Yeah.
Or SNAP.
Snap,
I
yeah.
think Rebecca did.
First,
Yeah.
maybe Zap with 2 Ps.
Bam. Okay. Any other items you'd like to have on the agenda?
This
No?
is for September, right?
Yes.
Oh, presentation by Life is Beautiful. Their restoration.
Okay, presentation by Life is Beautiful. Now, when is that happening?
September 23rd, 5th.
Okay, then it'll be just prior, our meeting, this meeting will be just prior to that. Okay. So. Okay. Could be a good meeting. Moving on to number 12. Citizens' participation, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Do we have someone? Yes, please.
Dave Fuentes, paintthisdesert.com. I'm actually here for the next people up. But since there's talk here that there may be some available cash, let me speak. Paintthisdesert.com is a blog that was started and funded by Warhol Foundation 3 years ago, and we've kept at it. I've been able to keep it alive through my graphic design and writing contracts. And in a roundabout way, in the last 2 years, it has been supported with funding by the state of Nevada through a jackpot grant last summer. And I'm up for one now, or I applied for one. It was actually recruited, or I was recruited by UNLV, which is part of why I'm part of the UNLV Fine Art Program, and also helping teaching public art courses at the GA, and also help it along whenever I can with graphic design when needed on an on-call basis, right?
Right.
And coming up with some projects like with Zach, where I write with the brochures and design the brochures for the last couple of years, which has created output and created some outreach. I would like to propose that since I've had Nevada, UNLV, the county, Nevada State College support Paint This Desert, maybe now this is a chance where the city could, even if there was just a small, however we figure out with the loose cash that's there, that is unused, the project is up and running. The project, and I have a national platform because I also just started writing, or just my first post for hyperallergic, and these are my numbers for the year, which is 447,140 readership just for this first part of the last half of the year. Something to consider. I will listen to how we go through the steps to even maybe match what has been donated before, which has been between 500 to 1,000. And you can have the readership, ideas, and everything else. Any information I can help. And I only bring it up because of the discussion that was brought here before. But thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Sorry to make such a shocking number. You don't want to take too much time, I know it seems like you may run over. And we'll stand to make it quick. I find it difficult. Okay. My name is David Gleason, and here's my partner, Mary Mahalik.
Hi.
We've collaborated on an interesting project, we believe, and oddly enough, it's the 1-year anniversary since Mr. Trump announced his candidacy for presidency, and we've embarked on kind of an odyssey that is really not a terribly partisan or terribly political project per se, but it really is trying to emphasize the importance of art in the political realm and in the social realm, and those things where we really struggle to understand what's happening socially within all societies, but particularly now at this moment in the United States here. So we've been, we purchased, if you can believe it or not, Donald Trump's original campaign bus, which he used in Iowa. It went up for sale through kind of a strange and semi-absurd series of events, but we purchased it while we were just beginning to do some work on what was happening in the campaign, and have been taking it around the country. and to use, I'm sure, a very tired phrase for you, we were coming across the country, stopped in Denver, and then flew back to our other lives. And when we got to Denver, we tried to head over the pass in I-70, didn't make it, the radiator blew out, and we made it as far as Laramie, Wyoming, where we crapped out for a week. We had a wonderful plan to be here for First Friday and engage with some of your arts community, and we were a week late and $5,600 short. Not that we're here looking for money.
But I think we need to clarify, we purchased Donald Trump's campaign bus off Craigslist and transformed it into an anti-Trump traveling contemporary artwork.
Yeah, yeah.
So we use it as a vehicle to protest what Donald Trump is saying.
And
it's parked outside. We want to
Yeah.
show it to you.
Yeah, so we had an interesting discussion with Paco the other night, and also with a couple of the other folks we had planned to see a week and a half ago if we had arrived on time, but we couldn't. So we just wanted to take a quick moment to say hello, and it's wonderful to hear what you're doing here in Las Vegas. I'm very active in the arts in Philadelphia, where I live, and also on the policy side, sit on several boards, and I share your frustration about having unspent money at the end of the year, because that always is a great frustration. And also, I want to apologize if we were a bit alarming when we walked in with our masks, and to thank you for asking me to please take them off, because those were masks we used in New Hampshire and when it was 12 degrees, and we haven't quite updated our wardrobe. But that's part of this quick piece which we just explained, which we call open carry, the right to bear art. And basically the idea being that it is real important to try to embrace what art can do in these socially disruptive moments, and in a time when the political kind of landscape is being shuffled so rapidly, it's hard for people to catch up. And we found that we hope that we're providing some sort of a service by being out there with this bus, going to campaign rallies. We go to both Democratic and Republican rallies. We engage people, and we've talked to people across the whole political spectrum. And the hope is that creating some different use of visual tools, the way artists do, in the physical realm helps to enable people to process the sort of emotional eruption and uncertainty that seems to be happening. And there's frustration across the whole spectrum on the political side of things, with Bernie Sanders obviously stirring up things on the left, and Donald Trump arguably on the right, but kind of more like a center-right kind of an event. So Open Carry is a piece that we developed, which was, this is a big old heavy paintbrush from Australia, and just the idea of mounting a scope on it and imagining art's importance as a tool and a weapon in political debate and social issues. And then also it certainly communicates the centrality of guns as part of the political landscape here in the U.S. And Mary developed a piece while we were holed up in Laramie for a week. This is the Western edition.
Coyote tail chaps.
It's a coyote tail, some old chaps. Certainly if you have any questions, we welcome the chance to speak further. I know you've run over quite a bit, but it's been a wonderful visit, and we're either flying home or driving to Las Vegas, to Los Angeles tomorrow. We're not quite sure.
But come to stop by the bus outside on your way out. We'd love to show it to you, give you a little tour of everything going on.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Both of you.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Is the commission political? Are we?
No.
No, we're not, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, this has been quite a meeting.
Well, I had a little heart pause when I saw scope, so
I did the same thing. I was like,
I know.
I saw Bob's reaction like.
I saw you go out because I
Everybody
was.
thought I would jump and boat, I'm sure.
And Conwood brought pitchforks to this meeting and attacked the city, and I'm thinking, are there pitchforks in there or guns? Paintbrushes, yeah.
Well, the discussion has been very good. It really has. And we should do this regularly. So on to item number 13, we have a motion.
So moved.
So moved. We need a second?
Second.
Second? All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.